So definitely, without even wasting much time, he'll speak a lot on his own. I would like to introduce our guest of honor, the MP, Mvita. Abdulswamad Shariff, karibu sana. Thank you so much, sir.
Before we talk, something maybe you didn't know is Mheshimiwa also is a former radio presenter. Actually, that is one thing. When I was on Pulse FM, my show used to come before his show, so he used to run. So this story about media, he can tell you well.
Actually, Lenium,
yes.
Now this are like three former radio presenters.
Yes.
The one up there, yourself and myself. Very interesting. Thank you.
Hi, habari zenu. I need to, Lenium and Esther have stated one fact before getting into the line of public service as a member of parliament. I was in public service by virtue of being in the media industry. And I was actually a radio presenter, like many of you who are here. And I learned a lot from a number of you who are here. And today, I actually am here wearing 3 crowns. 1, by being in the media fraternity. 2, which came way before me being a member of parliament. Probably not many of you are aware, but I am actually a trustee of Reach Out Center Trust. So the speech that I'll be giving to you, I know that the speeches that you hear as me being a member of parliament, you can be able to hear them a lot in the National Assembly. So today, I speak on behalf of Reach Out Center Trust, and I wish to put my label as a member of parliament aside until I get out of this podium. So there'll be a small vacuum, leadership vacuum for a few minutes. First of all, I want to take the opportunity to welcome you all again. And this is the Media Awards that has been arranged by Reach Out Center Trust. And your presence, the full capacity in this hall today, confirms how much the journalists appreciate the role on the fight against this vice and the role that we have to do this using harm reduction as a best basis. I recall a couple of years ago when the whole notion of needle exchange program was there. And a couple of years ago, when we were discussing about methadone, society, actually there was a huge backlash because others had not understood what methadone was all about. We had a huge backlash that in exchanging needles and syringes was not the way forward. And today, those things that we stood head on, and the things that we ensured that our principles do not wave and our belief does not shake, today we are seeing the results of those efforts. And I want to thank the media for being able to be on the forefront. And as you're aware, drug use has become a growing public health problem, contributing not only to high morbidity, disability, but also deaths across the country. And a recent study by NACADA indicates that many individuals initiate drug use at a youthful age of between 15 to 30 years. And majority of them is due to peer pressure and curiosity. This study has revealed that although tobacco and cannabis are the most commonly used drugs, heroin was the most favored once tried. Majority of people who use drugs are disproportionately affected by HIV due to sharing of used needles, syringes, or other injection paraphernalia, and risky sexual behaviors, which include transactional sex for drugs, having sex without using any form of protection, and multiple partners. And evidence has shown that about 1 in 7 person who injects drugs is HIV infected. And equally, about 300 person who use drugs within the coastal region die annually due to drug use related complications, overdose, HIV related illnesses, and mob justice as well. And furthermore, the people who use drugs face numerous behavioral, structural, and environmental factors that make it difficult for them to be more useful members of the society. Many are homeless, unemployed, live in poverty, and exposed to extreme stigma, discrimination, and violence, because drug use has always been and is still being perceived as a criminal activity rather than a health issue that requires counseling and rehabilitation. The fear of arrest, feeling of guilt, and low self-esteem prevent many people who use drugs to seek legal and health care. Reluctance in getting an HIV test makes it difficult to enroll people who use substances with HIV prevention services. Ladies and gentlemen, as Reach Out Center Trust, we've been striving to address the harms and adverse psychological, psychosocial, and economic consequences of drug use in coastal regions since the year 2005. And to date, on an annual basis, we are reaching 5,000 persons who use drugs in Mombasa, Kwale counties. Evidence-based harm reduction interventions that include HTS, RTS, MAT, and NSP, drug dependence treatment, and other services. Dealing with such a minority group that feels discriminated and disenfranchised, no doubt comes with its fair share of challenges. The team at Reach Out Center Trust, which I'm truly proud of, and maybe at this juncture, I really want every one of us here to give them a huge applause on this. The team faces social, emotional, and health challenges while dealing with their clients. However, we are encouraged and fortified by the fact that if we rescued just one drug user from ruin, then we would have served humanity. And since the demands of persons who use drugs are overwhelming, amidst unlimited human and financial resources, we have engaged with the Ministry of Health, the county governments of both Mombasa and Kwale, law enforcement agencies, the judiciary, community members, international and local NGOs, and a most important component, the media. Reach Out has engaged the media in various ways, including weekly programs and interviews. Our close collaboration has made Reach Out Center Trust to recognize the media as critical partners in the campaign against drug and substance abuse in Kenya because of their ability to amplify the message, reach a wide audience, and influence behavioral change. We believe that we need to use the full power and ability of the media to inform and educate the youth to avoid falling into the trap of drug and substance abuse. Reach Out Center Trust has sought to show appreciation to journalists who have worked tirelessly to highlight positive stories, features in the field of drug abuse, harm reduction, and policy. Today's awards are in line with the organization's mission of offering prevention and intervention services to people affected by drug use and HIV/AIDS through comprehensive outreach services, including counseling, advocacy, reintegration into society, and treatment of drug abuse and HIV infection. Ladies and gentlemen, about a year ago, September 2017, Reach Out circulated to all media houses the intent for feature stories under the theme Drug Policy for Sustainable Development to be published between March and September 2018. Journalists were invited to submit articles for both TV and radio, print, online, photography, with the following criteria: that it had to be original work that was well researched, to describe the health effects of drug use, challenges faced by drug users, highlight key success of the harm reduction program and policies that have significantly affected the delivery of preventive services to drug users, with special focus on narcotic drugs and psychotropic substance control act of the year 1994. To showcase how human rights defenders and CSOs have strived to bridge the gap between drug users and security agents with an aim of containing human rights violation of drug users. Indicate the impact of the fight against drug trafficking in the coastal region through supply, demand, and harm reduction. And finally, indicate how people recovering from drug use are regaining a fresh lease of life through income-generating activities or other initiatives. And I'm grateful to report that an overwhelming response of journalists to the call. A total of 32 high-quality media articles were submitted, capturing newspaper, radio, television, and online bloggers as well. This response confirms one thing: the empathy of journalists towards people who use drugs in their effort to enlighten society on the challenges, human rights violation, and struggles of people who use drugs in this region, so that all join hands to fully support rather than punish these highly marginalized and stigmatized members of our society. We hereby appeal to the media and all other stakeholders gathered here today to continue supporting our work by highlighting the success stories and advocating for respect of human rights of persons who use drugs and access to healthcare policy change. It is only through continued strong collaboration and partnership that we can significantly address the scourge that has ruined the lives of many youth and families within the coastal region and Kenya at large. So I want to thank all of you, and I want to congratulate way in advance for those of you who are going to be receiving their awards here today. Each and every one of you is a winner by their own right. Those who will be receiving their awards and those who will be receiving their recognition, every single one of you has made a change in someone's life in one way or the other. So thank you very, very much, and be blessed. Asanteni sana.